Mostly cloudy. Good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Another busy one out around. We'll find out how things are shaping up in Chicago in just a moment. Very busy program, so we're going to get right to it today. Partly sunny skies, they say, at a number of locations, but here at Radio Center, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies. A little bit warmer, 39 degrees at the airport, 39 here at the Radio Center, Midland 38, downtown Bay City is at 38. A northeast breeze, a little unusual, as we mentioned yesterday. We've been contending with that south and southwest wind, strong gusty winds, but not today, not yesterday as much either. And we're going to see a little bit more northeasterly, northwesterly breezes as we go through the next few days. So kind of a welcome relief there. Right now, it is northeasterly, about 9 miles per hour, 30.09, and rising is the barometric pressure. Rising because we do have a high pressure system off to the west of us and the north of us. So that's what's generating the nicer barometer. Undoubtedly, it's not really influencing our weather a lot, simply because it's a rather weak high pressure. A very dominant high pressure, though, is off the coast of North Carolina right now. And that seems to be working its magic for us currently. But as we go through the next couple of days, we're going to begin to see some of the influence of a couple of low pressure systems, which will be forming. And they'll be tracking through the Ohio River, the Tennessee Valley areas. So for those folks down there, it's going to be a little bit more in the way of inclement weather. We're not exactly setting the world on fire here as far as our weather is concerned, but we are running a little bit above normal. 38 is where we should be in the afternoon. And as I said, right now we're at 39. We're looking for a high temperature of 42 with mostly cloudy skies. We have had a little bit of mist real early this morning before sunrise. A weak front did move through earlier this morning. That front is well to the east of us right now. So the low pressure system that's hooked onto that to the north is actually over the New England states right now. And it's connecting to a low pressure system, which is currently over southern Missouri. And that low is going to be tracking into southern Indiana around the Evansville area later on tonight and early tomorrow morning. That low will be crossing through the Cincinnati area and then wind up in Pennsylvania as we go through the day tomorrow. So that's why I'm saying all the activity is staying to the south of us, so it's not really affecting us with any kind of moisture pattern. But still, spotty showers are going to be around. Tonight, we're going to be looking at some spotty showers. Snow in the north, especially after 6 o'clock tonight through about, I want to say 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. But it's going to be very spotty, very isolated, and quite light because those winds are coming out of the north and the northeast. We're not seeing the lake effect type activity that we would see in northern Michigan if it was all coming at us from the northwest. So the forecast for tomorrow is maybe a peak of some sunshine here and there, but the clouds are going to rule tomorrow. 44 is our projected high, so a little bit warmer tomorrow. 32 for a low tomorrow night. As we said, that low pressure system going through the Ohio River Valley is going to wind up in Pennsylvania tomorrow. And then the high pressure system over northern Minnesota is going to begin to build just a little bit more, but not a lot. Thursday, we're going to be looking at some sun, 40 degrees for a high, so just a tad cooler on Thursday, but not much. System will be building in southern Illinois and southern Indiana going through the afternoon hours on Thursday. What does that mean? Well, that means on Friday, it's going to be kind of a mess, especially in areas, I want to say south of 94, but more particularly south of the Michigan border. As we mentioned yesterday, if you're going to be traveling into Ohio, Indiana, possibly Illinois, you are going to run into some precipitation. And it could be, I think it's going to be mostly wet, mostly liquid but there is going to be the chance of seeing some isolated slick spots. For us, maybe a flurry or two, maybe a sprinkle or two. Our high on Friday should be right around 40, and our low Friday night with plenty of clouds should be 30. Whatever precipitation we do get will be during the daylight hours on Friday, because Friday night we're just looking at mostly cloudy skies. Then on Saturday, clouds will continue, 38 for a high, 30 for a low. Sunday, clouds still, 40 for a high, 32 for a low. And then another system will be affecting our weather with a chance of some rain and snow in the afternoon on Monday. Our high temperature on Monday will be in the low 40s, but it'll drop as we go into the afternoon hours. Now, for the period of the 11th, which we're talking this weekend, through the 19th. So let's take the whole week, including, for the most part, the weekends. Our temperature pattern is going to be above normal for this time of the year. The precipitation pattern for, I want to say, the work week next week is going to be much above normal. So it kind of makes you think that very possibly we could be getting a little more wintry-like weather. The temperatures aren't going to be all that cold, but that's during the day. The nighttime temperatures will be dropping a little bit, but I think below the freezing mark. So that could generate some snow showers, snow flurry activity. The average low for this time of the year is 26. So above average is 27, 28, 29. We'll just have to see how all of that shapes up. But for right now, the precipitation pattern is relatively light, but it is going to be picking up in intensity and frequency as we move into the work week next week. Record high in the state is 61. That was set in 1998 and tied in 2001. The record low is 3 below zero. That was set in 1964. A year ago, 36 was our high, 23 was our low, and we had all sorts of crazy weather. Didn't have a lot of snow. We picked up about, maybe a quarter of an inch of snow, but we had wind gusts a year ago of over 50 miles per hour on this day. And many of you still remember those extremely windy days in December last year that did create quite a bit of damage. And a little bit later on, we're going to touch base with Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency, and we're going to talk about something that we talked about last week with him, and that had to do with the tree damage and wind damage, because we have had a number of listeners ask questions. So they want Craig to once again address that, and he will a little bit later on in the broadcast. So that just kind of gives you an idea in a nutshell of what's going on. Oh, incidentally, back in 1962, for those of you that remember, on this day, we got 10 inches of snow. On December the 7th of 1962, we picked up an additional 3. So we had more than a foot of snow in this period of the 6th and the 7th back in 1962. And 1962 was not a record breaker, but a very snowy December. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Rick Hollister standing by over at the Andersons. He'll give us the latest as far as what the markets are doing, and it ought to be kind of interesting today. All of that coming up, but first of all, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Weiss Equipment. You know, if you ever wondered about how the farm all got its name, Well, because it can. Anything you need on the farm, it can do. Baling, cutting hay, fertilizing, mixing feed, cultivating, furrowing, clearing, seeding, digging, hitching, harrowing, hoisting, excavating, grading, even leading parades. You know, that Case IH Farmall tractor ranges from 35 to 140 horsepower. And Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth knows that it does get the job done when you choose the right Farmall. That's why they carry a wide range of Case IH Compact Farmall Series tractors, so you'll find the right fit for your operation. From the Value Pack Compact Farmall A to the Deluxe Compact Farmall C and C Series with cabs. So let's make it simple. The tractor does it all. So no matter what you're doing, Can Do comes in red. And it's called Farmall. Find out more by stopping by Weiss Equipment in Frankenmuth, doing it right longer. We say good morning to Rick Hollister. Rick, what's going on today?
Good morning, Terry. We have a higher trading corn and soybeans today, so we're trying to reverse the trend here the last few days. Big sell-off, of course, last Thursday and Friday in the feed grains, wheat market, and corn both breaking below support levels. Amid the wheat's just suffering from big liquidation from the speculative crowd. They have continued to sell it off, and even today wheat is down 2 or 3. But soybeans able to perk up a little bit, up 25 to 30 at the moment. So after the sell-off the last few days, trying to perk up a little bit. We did get a Chinese soybean sale announcement this morning from our USDA. So that helps. It's around 10 million bushels or 265,000 metric tons. So that's another little bit of good news. It's not a huge sale, but it is more to add to our potential exports here towards China on the beans. Decidedly lacking on export sales to China on corn, though. So we continue to see no evidence that China is going to come towards the U.S. for corn. They have started in buying some corn from Brazil, anticipating a corn harvest here in January, February, and March. They have got the phytosanitary stuff done with Brazil on corn, and it looks like they're looking that way. And part of that is our strong U.S. dollar here for the last 3 or 4 months, up until the last couple of weeks. The U.S. dollar was so strong, and the Brazilian real was so weak. Just a tremendous sell-off in the real. Their currency just trading at far less than it was just a year ago. Really makes soybeans and corn look inexpensive compared to U.S. corn when you just look at the dollar exchange. So we're continuing to fight that. But corn is able to be up 3, trying to follow soybeans a little bit and recover from the sell-off the last few days. The weather in South America continues to be okay in Brazil, to good. They're 90% done on their soybean plantings now, so pretty much have that, have their beans in the ground. Argentina is where the concern is, around 20 to 25% done in soybeans, 20 to 25% done in corn down in Argentina. So they're behind. They should be 40 to push half done, near 50% on the soybeans by now. So that's where the concern is. They've been extra dry. They have gotten a little rain in the last week. That hurt the soybeans as well. But the forecast is not for lots and lots of precipitation to continue. So we'll just have to. We're just living from one forecast to the other. One thing we haven't talked about, Terry, is Australia wheat. They're coming into their winter wheat crop here in another couple of months, and boy, at the moment they are just expecting. They're really excited about the moisture they've had. Compared to 2 and 3, 4 years ago, they were in a long-term drought. They've gotten lots of moisture on their wheat. They're pretty excited about having a new record wheat crop. They're putting out some pretty big numbers for expectations of their wheat in Australia that'll come off here in a little bit. So a lot of little stuff going on. That's kind of a mouthful, isn't it?
Yep, it sure is. So what's on the board right now, Rick?
At Hemlock, for December delivery on corn, we're 589. New crop for next fall at 538. Soybeans for December delivery at 1409. So getting back over north of the $14 mark again on our cash bid. New crop beans at 1333. Red wheat cash at 652. New crop wheat and red wheat at 698. So just below 7 there. Old crop weight wheat at 667. The new crop weight wheat for next summer, Terry, at 753.
You take care. Have a great day, Rick.
Have a good day, Terry.
I will. Rick Hollister over at the Andersons. A little bit more in depth with Doug Klein from Oppenheimer. The market report brought to you by Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors are definitely made easier when you give them a call at this number, 800-234-3280, or go to their website at steinertractor.com, because they understand how your life and job both stop if your tractor stops running. And by Stein Seeds. With more than 50 corn lines to choose from, Stein offers elite genetics with a broad range of traits. Stein has yield. Yield plus choice. Learn more at steinseed.com. Okay, Doug, take it away.
I wish I could be more optimistic.
Oh, boy. Now, the gas prices aren't looking that bad. They're looking better.
Yeah, Biden figured that one out. Just jam us into a recession and gas prices will fall because nobody can afford it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, crude down $2. Gasoline trading at $2.15. Kind of sort of looks like $2.80 at the pump, but we're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer to that. So who knows? A lot of negative feelings about upcoming recession. When I think we're already in a recession, but then I don't matter. But Jamie Dimon says that he's J.P. Morgan. He says that probably heading into a recession next year, no matter what the Fed does. So, and they're going to raise interest rates to make darn sure they do that. So, I don't know the reasoning behind it, but like I say a million times before, it's above my pay grade. Here's your numbers. The December corn, 632.5, up 3 3/4. The September of 23 corn is 605, down a penny. March wheat is 1472.5, up 27.5. November of 23 wheat is 1394. November of 23 soybeans, 1394 and 3/4, up 18 cents. December wheat, 712 3/4, down 2 3/4. And July of 23 wheat is 751 1/4, down 5 3/4. Crude oil, 74.95, down $2. Heating oil is 290.16, down 9.8 cents. Gasoline is 215.19, down 5 cents. Natural gas, 5.45, down 12.5 cents. Currencies: Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys 136.42 at the border. That is up 54 ticks. The dollar buys 136.51 yen. That's down 23 ticks. The euro's priced at 105.02. That's up 11 ticks. That's about 8-9% higher since the latest, 2 months ago at the most. And the dollar's trading at 105.11. That's down 17 ticks. Gold's at $1777.50. It's up $10.10. Silver's at $22.38, up 18 cents. Platinum's at $1,001.60, down $5.90.
Oh, getting a little bit above my head there.
Yeah, me too.
Talk to you later.
Okay.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Jerry Smolsky from Bay Landscaping and Garden Center joining me right now. Jerry, what should we be doing out there?
Terry, we're putting plants away for the winter, the potted plants back into polyhouses today and watering. As much rain as we think we've had, we're down on water. Before you put those hoses away, and maybe even if you have put them away, I might be inclined to pull them out one more time. Anything newly planted, to give them a good drink before you put them to bed. It's dry out there, Terry, and it would sure help, particularly evergreens.
I took a look at the research, Jerry. Last year at this time, we had roughly 30 inches water equivalent of moisture. This year, we're just a hair more than 26. So we're close to 4 inches below where we were a year ago. And a year ago, we were wetter, but nothing to set the world on fire then.
And I would suggest that 4 inches that we're short in the last month and a half, 2 months, that we haven't gotten those rains that we normally would have. So if you got anything new, water them up, put them to bed wet, and wake up happy in the spring.
Sounds good. Jerry, take care. Have a good day. All righty?
Yes, sir.
All right. Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Craig Voorhees joins us in a moment. Do you have a yield monitor in your combine? Do you print off a pretty picture every year, but you don't know what to do with it? Why don't you have PC Ag Solutions analyze your data to help you make profitable decisions for the upcoming season? We can help you analyze your data from your planter, sprayer, or combine and compare it to your soil types and nutrient availability. Anything from the planting date to your speed, population, and variety to elevation, drainage, and in-season applications. We can help you make the most profitable decision on your farm. Call us today. 989-868-4444. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Quality Roasting of Reese, offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans. Give them a call for a quote today. Craig, it was a year ago, I mentioned it during the weather, where we had 50-mile-an-hour winds around these parts. And, of course, we had a lot of damage then. And we had a little bit more damage here over the past couple of weeks or so. Some folks did not hear your message last week. Could you kind of cover it again for us about the wind damage and the tree damage part with insurance?
Sure, Terry. The repeats are easy, doesn't it? I don't have to think hard when we do that. But yeah, it does seem like over the last few years, we've had an awful lot of wind, in late fall like this. Excuse me. And, we always remember to call the insurance company if a tree falls on a house or a car or a barn or something like that. But even if you've got one that gets blown over and doesn't hit anything, it's a good idea to give your insurance agency a call. Depending on how your policy is put together, there may be some cleanup costs available for that. Not all policies do, but some do. So again, the old adage, it never hurts to ask, holds true. And even if the tree hasn't completely tipped over, but is going to, again, there's a few policies out there that would help with the cleanup costs on that. So it's worth checking into.
Yeah, it sure is, especially for those that haven't fallen, but boy, they look like they're going to.
Right. The coverage for those isn't as common as the other ones. But again, especially if you've got an older policy, it might have some good stuff in it yet. So it's worth giving folks a call.
Good advice. Craig, have a good one. We'll talk to you again soon. All righty?
Thanks, Terry. You too.
You bet. Craig Voorhees with the Rummel Agency.
Whether your family farm has been passed down through generations or you're just getting started, knowledge and partnership fuel constant growth along the way. As the legacy of your farm strengthens, shared values and a never-ending commitment remain. ACH Seeds is proud to work with you to sustain your continued growth. This partnership, driven by a shared passion that never stops growing, is refined over time and cultivated in common ground.
This is your ACH Seeds representative, Peter Maxwell. Our 2023 lineup is better than ever. Crystal Beet Seed varieties offer a full spectrum of defensive traits combined with top-performing yield and sugar potential. And speaking of defense, ask me about the proven performance of our CR Plus varieties. This enhanced level of Cercospora leaf spot tolerance provides confidence of good disease control with fewer trips across the field. I look forward to hearing from you and working toward continued success. Thanks again for partnering with ACH Seeds.
Along with me, Steve Anderson from Baird & Company. Steve, what's going on in New York right now?
Well, right this minute, they're still worrying a bit that interest rate hikes are going to continue longer and higher than they had begun to hope. So we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 285 points right now, putting it at 33,662. Volume is 320 million shares. The NASDAQ's off by 173. Putting it at 11,068. Volume there is 331 million shares. Locally, we've got Caterpillar 229.54 down 303. Deere 435.64 down 1 1/4. CMS 60.26 up 33. Dow 51.31 up 6. DuPont 70.12 down 30. Corteva 64.30 down 6. GM 38.06 down 73. Trinzio 23.31 down 44. Walmart 150.58 down 107. Home Depot 316.90 down 318. Huntington Bank 14.60 down 29, and AT&T is ahead by 27 at 19.02.
Thanks a lot, Steve. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you. You do the same.
I will. Steve Anderson over at Baird and Company. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Hilleshog. Hey, sugar beet growers, do you have problems with nematodes? Well, then you need to know about Hilleshog's latest nematode-resistant variety, which is 3223 NT. Bred and trialed here in Michigan, 2332 NT is high yielding with high sugar and offers one of the strongest root disease packages available, which means that you can stop worrying about nematodes, rhizoctonia, and root aphids. Contact your Hilleshog agent and find out how to make your farm generations strong. Plant Hilleshog. Back at 12:30 with an update. Now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw.